Growing up, I mean, I know that's how every story starts, right? But I mean, that's realistically where your car journey begins. My dad was always into different types of cars. I mean, even if it was just basic work on mom's minivan or my dad's pickup truck. I mean, I was always around cars. My granddad actually raced a little bit, not necessarily legally, but being around him really kind of brought me into that world of the classics and stuff like that as well. My name's Nate Williams and I drive a 2012 Subaru Impreza WRX STI Hatchback. My Subaru journey really began with my buddy Andrew. He had a '07 Subaru Impreza WRX, and what really got me into it was at the time I didn't have a car. Actually, I totaled mine, so he was my roommate at the time and he let me borrow it. And from that moment, from driving that car, it was unlike anything I'd ever driven before. I mean, everything else was front wheel drive, more, minivan truck, sedans, hatchback, stuff like that, or even coupes. But the all-wheel drive and the turbo and the flat four, just the way the power delivery was, everything was just, it was amazing. From that point, I was like, I'm Subaru, Team Subaru. I'd been looking for a STI hatchback for a long time. So I ended up finding this hatchback that I have now. It was down in Miami. I called them up. I was like, hey, you guys still have the car? And they were like, yeah, I mean, we still have it. It might not last that long. I was like, hey, I mean, I'll be down there this weekend to pick it up. I'll literally just come get it if y'all just hold it for me. He said, I'll hold it for you. So I immediately called my buddy Andrew. Once again, I was like, hey, Andrew, I mean, let's go to Miami. He was like, what for? I was like, I mean, to pick up an STI. What else? So we bought a couple plane tickets and left out at like 4 in the morning and flew down to Miami. Got there, viewed the car, got everything sorted out paperwork wise, and just we drove it directly back. I brought him along really to check out the car and kind of help me look it over, and obviously to help drive the 12-hour journey back. But it turns out I ended up just driving the whole way just nonstop myself because I just fell in love with the car on that journey back. It was amazing. The car's the EJ25 2.5 liter flat four. 6-speed manual gearbox, of course all-wheel drive. Love that aspect of it as well. It has a Cobb SF intake, NVIDIA catback exhaust. It also has, of course, the Cobb access port. Had to get that to make sure everything was running correctly. BC coilovers, 30-way adjustable dampeners on those as they come, which is very convenient. Cosmetic wise, I mean, I do have pairing 22mm spacers on it to kind of give it the stance with the coilovers on there. Rally armor mud flaps, and of course you got to have the hella horns if you have a Subaru. Funny story behind that, I actually got those out of necessity because my horn, the low tone, was not working. Ended up ordering those, took everything apart. Turns out my low tone was just unplugged, but hey, something good came out of it. So my favorite thing about this car is really how it handles the power. I mean, this is just the best one in corners. Everything just, it launches you no matter where you're pointed or what the conditions are outside, whether it's rainy, whether you're in gravel, whether you're in grass. It pulls you no matter what you're doing, and that consistent and instantaneous traction is ridiculous to explain. My favorite part about car culture is not just the cars, but the people behind the cars. I mean, you have cars and the cars have personalities, but getting to know the people and how their personality ties into their car's personality, it's beautiful to see kind of that connection as you're going through the different modifications, why this person did this one thing to their car and why this other person did this one thing to theirs, why this guy lifted his STI, why this guy slammed his and cambered his to death, why this guy drags his and why this guy tracks his, why this other guy just keeps his in his garage. That goes for all cars. It's just, like I said, the personalization that comes behind every aspect of an automobile and then the person behind that automobile.